Ladies and gentlemen, today I think we'll do something a little different. I am, in theory, a gaming-focused YouTube channel, right? I know sometimes we do gaming news, sometimes I do top 10 list, but today I think we're gonna go over some games that I've been playing recently, because these games are awesome, and I just want to talk about them. And I feel like if you're a gaming-focused YouTube channel, you should talk about games. So let's just go ahead and get right into this video. Yeah, this makes sense, right? I am a gaming-focused YouTube channel, therefore I should talk about games. It's all making sense now. And we're going to go over 4 games. I have 3 right here and then 1 I've already sold, but 4 games that I've been playing recently, and I think they're all worth talking about. So before we get started, if you could hit a like and subscribe, that would truly mean the world to me. And also, if you could follow me on Instagram and Twitter or X or whatever it's currently called, I'd really appreciate that as well. And let's just talk about some cool video games. First, we have got to talk about Astral Chain. I actually just finished this game last night. It is a masterpiece. It is incredible, and it is one of the best games I think I've ever played. Definitely one of the best Switch games of all time. And it almost feels like a mixture of so many different things. Like, it almost feels like you're playing through an anime, especially how the opening of this game is. There's like this musical rock anime adjacent opening. You feel like you're playing this like cyberpunk game. There's like some mech stuff going on. There's some alien futuristic stuff going on. Sometimes when a game has too much stuff going on, it kind of cancels everything else out. So you're like, well, I started to like that, but then they switched it over to this, or this was interesting, but then they switched it over to that. For like the first 5 hours of this game, they're just adding more and more stuff, and you're like, whoa, I have this feature. Whoa. I think the mechs in this game are called legions. You're like, this legion can do this. Now I have another legion. Now I have another one. Now there's this going on. But it never gets overwhelming at all, and it just leaves you wanting more. This was a game that I could not stop playing. The music, it just slaps. It's perfect. The voice acting is really good. The story is good, but at the end I think it gets really good, and there's a nice little twist at the end. I don't want to spoil it, but it just kept me wanting to play over and over again. Whenever I'd wake up, I'd want to play this game, and the last thing I would do before I went to sleep is play this game. And this game would have me playing it until 4, 5, 6 a.m. Like, I was addicted to it. I think if you just rush through the story, which you don't want to do that because there's really fun side little missions going on, and there's a bunch of stuff to explore, and you can go back and beat old levels. But I think you can just rush through it, I want to say in about 15 hours, and it's like, why would you want to do that? I did do some extra stuff, and I think I beat it around 20 hours, and I beat this game in a week. Probably less than a week. It was so damn good. Platinum Games is currently going through like this weird transitional phase where they're like stopping some games and then firing some of their team and getting new members. So there's a rumor this game might get a sequel on the Nintendo Switch 2. It's not looking too promising, but I think Nintendo went to them and was like, hey, y'all need to figure something out here, or we might let another team work on the sequel. I don't know. All I know is Astral Chain is a masterpiece. We're going to talk about 4 games today. So we're going to do a Switch game, PS5 game, Switch game, PS5 game. I think last week I beat Jedi Survivor on my PlayStation 5, and I got this physically at Walmart, brand new for $20, and I was like, well, it's $20, you know what I mean? Like, I'm probably going to get some enjoyment out of it. I think I played Fallen Order, which is the prequel to this, which is not really a prequel, but like the first game in this little series, on Game Pass maybe for like an hour or 2, and I had no idea what I was doing, and nothing sucked me into it, and I quit, and I never thought about it again. For some reason, I had higher hopes for Jedi Survivor, and literally, I want to say like 30 minutes into it, I knew I was going to love this game. And here's the thing, I've only seen one Star Wars movie my entire life. I used to have a Star Wars movie on VHS. When I was a little kid, I had Pokemon the first movie and Star Wars. That's the only 2 movies I had when I was little. And it was the one that had like Jar Jar Binks and Darth Maul in it. And I would watch it every day and I enjoyed it, but I just never got into Star Wars like that. And I'm sure I missed some of the plot by playing this and not really experiencing the first one, but I think I understood everything. And it was so freaking fun, so addicting. This one is open world, and I think the first game, if I read it correctly, is not open world. It's like level based or something like that, or it's more linear. And I was reading some reviews, and some people were saying they didn't like the open world aspect of Jedi Survivor. I enjoyed it, and I thought it really added to the experience. Like, you really felt like you were out exploring. But there was a few times where I was kind of overwhelmed, and I got a little lost, and then I was understanding like where they were coming from. But this game is incredible. Again, I think I beat this game maybe in, I want to say 20 hours as well. I looked online, some people said they played it for 50 hours, 80 hours, and there's a lot of other stuff to do and new worlds to find. The story, I really didn't care for, I'll be honest. Probably because I'm not the biggest Star Wars fan, and that's probably where I was like, wait, what the hell is going on here? I gotta kill this person? Wait, these people are back from the dead? Or I really didn't know what the hell was going on here, right? But the gameplay is where this game shined. It almost felt like a space version of like a samurai game. And I know that's what the Jedi are supposed to be. They're supposed to be like space ninjas, or I don't know, that sounds insane saying that. But all of that being said, this is one of my favorite games I played on my PlayStation 5 entirely. And if you are wondering about this game, I would say play it. It really is a treat. Now let's move back over to Nintendo Switch with Shin Megami Tensei 5 Vengeance. I think Shin Megami Tensei 5 came out all the way in 2021, maybe 2022, and I thought it was interesting. You know what I mean? I didn't play it and I never purchased it, but I thought, okay, that looks pretty interesting. Like, I know it's an Atlas game and I know it's in the same universe as the Persona series. A lot of people who might be newer fans might not know this, but Shin Megami Tensei came out before Persona. So it had piqued my interest and I thought, I'll get to it eventually, maybe, maybe I'll pick it up. But then Shin Megami Tensei 5 Vengeance was announced. And this fixed a bunch of problems, I guess, that the base game had, like some quality of life stuff, and added a whole new storyline, new characters. And I thought, yeah, I'm going to pick this up. This is the Steelbook version, and I got this on sale at Walmart, I think for like $30. And yeah, I was ready to play it. And for the first 5 hours, I'll be honest, it was kind of incredibly difficult to get into. Not because the game is so hard, and it is very challenging. There's some enemies that can kill you in just one single hit, right? And you have a party. But we'll get to that in a little bit. But all of the customization is really what's difficult. There are so many ways you can like change your party and change your character and their abilities and what makes them strong and what makes them weak. And you can fuse demons together and make new demons and stronger demons. And there's items, and there's just so much going on. One thing I loved about this game, and this is my first Shin Megami Tensei game ever, so I don't know if this is the same in other games, but in this game, you're going to battle demons. Just look at it like a Pokemon game. You're out battling Pokemon. And in Pokemon, you can catch those Pokemon, and now they're on your team. It's the same thing in this game. You're out fighting demons. But you can go to these demons, and instead of fighting them, you can talk to them and say, hey, you should come work for me. And sometimes they'll say yes, sometimes they'll fight you, sometimes you have to convince them or even pay them, and then they will come and be on your team. And it's such a cool feature. Then once you meet these demons, you can go to like this little menu system and you can take their abilities. So it's like giving Fire Blast to Pikachu or Hydro Pump to Pikachu. Even though it doesn't seem like it would fit, you can get any of their abilities and give it to your main character, which is just so freaking incredible. The world is fine. It's like this apocalyptic version of Tokyo, and you go back and forth from like modern day Tokyo to this apocalyptic Tokyo, and yeah, I think it's fine. The music is amazing, and the characters have a lot of depth. The story, I'd give it like a 7 out of 10. It wasn't the strongest story in my opinion. I really liked how it was this angels versus demon thing going on though. But yeah, I highly recommend this game. It's awesome. Now let's talk about Guardians of the Galaxy for PlayStation 5. After beating Jedi Survivor, I went on my phone and searched like games similar to this or games that I might enjoy. I was recommended Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga, and I actually picked that up. I have not opened it yet. But the other game I was recommended was Guardians of the Galaxy. And I had heard about this game, and I knew it was like a hidden gem and very underrated. Here's the thing. I am not a fan of like anything superhero related. I'm not a fan of the Marvel movies. The only superhero movies I think I really liked were like Spider-Man, like the original ones back in the early 2000s. I haven't seen any of the new stuff. I don't watch the Avengers. I'm just not a fan of it. It doesn't do anything for me personally. But the way I thought about it is I'm not like the biggest Star Wars fan, and I enjoyed this game. So who's to say I won't enjoy Guardians of the Galaxy? And I bought it, and I started playing it, and I gotta say the game is absolutely beautiful. So I started to play the game, and I got about, I want to say 5 hours into it. And I have a rule, no matter what, I will give a game like 2 or 3 hours, because that's how long I think it takes to grasp what a game is actually about. So I gave it like 4 or 5 hours, something like that. But for some reason, I could not get into this game. I like the writing. I will say that. I think the writing is really cool, and I like how like you have multiple options. The main character, I think his name is like Star-Lord or something. Forgive me, I literally have no idea what Guardians of the Galaxy is about. But I think the main character's name is Star-Lord, and that's who you play as. But there are some times where you'll have like an option. It's like, hey, this team member has this issue. Do you want to support them, or do you want to support the other person? And then depending on what you pick, it really kind of affects like the mood of your team and the way they look at you. So I think that's really cool. One issue I had with the game though is even though there's multiple characters, they only let you control the main character, and all he has is like this little gun, and it's like, okay, that's fine. Where they make up for it though is you can command your party or your members or whatever the hell they're called, their characters. You can command them to do their attacks and their actions. So it's cool, like you'll be in a fight and you'll have your little gun, but then you can make the other characters go and fight and use their abilities, and that is fine. But I just wish you could have played as the other characters, especially the little raccoon. I do not know any of the characters' names. Again, forgive me. But he has so many cool ass guns, and I was thinking, man, I wish I could use those cool ass guns. If you're a fan of anything Marvel, or especially Guardians of the Galaxy, I think this game is a no-brainer, and you're really going to enjoy it, but it just didn't do it for me. And to be honest, I'm not really sure why. Even though I don't know any of the characters or the subject matter, I enjoyed Jedi Survivor, so I thought I would enjoy the same thing with Guardians of the Galaxy. It's a good game, and that's all that should matter, but for some reason, it just did not suck me in. Yeah, these are some games that I've been playing recently, and I thought it would be fun to talk about them. So in the comments below, let me know your thoughts and opinions, maybe any games you've been playing, and if you made it to this part of the video, hit a like and subscribe, follow me on Twitter, Instagram, X, whatever it's called, and you guys know me, I will see you very soon with a new video. Peace out!